Hi everyone, it's Bonita from Pennies to Dollars, and my channel is about living frugally and doing the best that you can with less. And in the process, I am trying to declutter as we are working towards retirement. But this channel is for all ages of adults who are trying to live frugally and get the most that you can out of the money that you have. And so I hope that some of my tips are helpful to you. And so we will get started today with some thoughts that I had on living frugally. I feel like setting goals with specific dates is helpful. I don't care if you are losing weight or if you are planning to pay off a bill or if you are planning to clean your house by a certain holiday. Goals and dates are very helpful. And so I keep a running list of my goals, and I keep a running list of my goals by the year. I have goals for this year, next year, the following year, and most of those goals I set are financial, but I also have ones that are set that have to do with decluttering my house and preparing for retirement. So think about what types of goals that you have and maybe put them down on paper. Sometimes keeping it on your calendar and not just in your mind is a big helpful way to move forward with those goals. I keep a paper calendar that's in my folder of my retirement folder, and I have different goals on each month of things that I would like to accomplish. And then I review those periodically to see where I am at. You always have choices. You feel like sometimes you don't have choices, but you have choices, and setting these goals helps you see those choices that you have. My dad always said there's always a choice. It may not be one that you like, but there's always choices. And I have remembered that throughout my adulthood. There's been so many times that I feel like I'm backed into a corner and I have no choice. But yes, I do have a choice. They may just not be ones that I want. Maybe they're ones that I have to cut something out of my routine to try to get back on track financially. Maybe there are things where I can't get something fixed right now, or I can't repair something right now that I feel like needs to be repaired. There's always choices. They may just not be ones that you want. So keep that in mind as you're trying to decide moving forward on things that you need to spend your money on. What choices are the ones that you need to make right now, and what ones can you maybe put off even though you don't like it, or maybe get something cheaper that you don't particularly like. If you change one thing, it leads you on the path to changing many things. If you work towards decluttering one room, it puts you on the path to decluttering others. If you get one bill paid off, it puts you on the path to paying off others. If you lose some weight, it puts you on the path to losing more weight. So if you change one thing, it puts you on the path to changing everything. You do have choices. And at the end of the day, stuff is just stuff. I know at a time in my life, in my 20s, I thought having things on my wall, having pretty furniture, having those things meant that I was an adult, that I was succeeding, that I was taking care of myself and my family, that I was moving up in the world. And now that I look back at some of those things, I think about all the money that I wasted worrying about showing that I was an adult, showing that I was moving up in the world, showing that I was doing well. Those things don't matter. And as we get older, we realize there's so many things that didn't matter, and we just couldn't see it because we weren't at a point in our life where we didn't care what other people thought. And once you hit about 40, you don't care what people think anymore. And it's such a freeing feeling. But if only we could have captured that in our 20s. If only we could have captured that so that we didn't worry that people thought we weren't making it and that we weren't taking care of ourselves and that we weren't moving forward. I see in my children sometimes that they are pushing so hard to sometimes even compete with each other to show that they have made it and that they're self-sufficient. And what self-sufficient looks like now is so much different than it did when I was growing up. Self-sufficient when I grew up made it look like we were poor. And I see so many off-gridders nowadays wanting to show that they're self-sufficient. And we grew up self-sufficient and we wanted to have more. We wanted to look like we had more. We wanted to look like we were more modern than the people that are now wanting to be off-grid. You always want something that you don't have. The trick is to make yourself think that you really don't need those things, or to understand that you really don't need those things. Because at the end of the day, stuff is just stuff. Money you have spent is gone. And if you go to bed not hungry, you have succeeded for that day. But how have you gone to bed not hungry? Did you spend $40 on pizzas that night for the family? Or did you go to bed spending $10 on a home-cooked meal? Because at the end of the day, when you go to bed and you're not hungry, you have succeeded. But money is already spent. So you have to make good choices, because at the end of the day, it does make a difference about the choices that you've made that day. And then I want to remind you that things do not have to be perfect to be moving in the right direction. And it's kind of like those goals that we talked about. As long as you are meeting some of those goals and seeing that you're moving forward, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you've tidied up a space, then you've moved forward. If you've learned or are trying to learn, like me, to make the perfect coffee, then you're still moving forward. If you have been able to pay off a bill or pay down a bill, then you're still moving forward. So I hope this is encouraging to you today as we move into the holiday season, to think about at the end of the day, what goals have you met? Did you feed your family? Then you met a goal. Did you pay down a bill? Then you met a goal. We need to start feeling successful at the things that we have done, but we need to keep moving toward those goals, because that will make us feel even better tomorrow. You have a great day, and